Old guy ramblings, old guy here. Today we're going to talk about the battery boxes. Mark 5, Mark 6 VWs. Now I have a Mark 5. Near the end of the Mark 5s, VW started trying to compete with becoming the #1 car manufacturer in the world and displaced Toyota. And along these lines, things got a little cheaper. Okay? One of the things with the last couple of years of the Mark 5 and the Mark 6s was the battery boxes. They went from a nice looking plastic 3-piece battery box to a piece of insulation. I don't even know what it's called. Okay? But it was obviously cheaper, easier to make. You just slammed it on there and it protected the battery from the heat of the motor or whatever. But it was cheap. And they don't last. They get wet. They get soggy. And basically they just look bad. So on my Mark 5 I decided to upgrade it. It's a 2010, so it's the last year of the Mark 5. I'm going to show you how to trade out that cloth or little insulator cover for the battery and put in a plastic battery box. Okay, so this over here is the battery box that VW started using at the end of Mark 5s and into early Mark 6s, or all the way through Mark 6s. I'm not really sure. But if you have this configuration for your battery box and stuff in a Mark 5 or a Mark 6, you're going to have this cloth insulator. All right, I'm going to replace it with this. This is the battery box from earlier Mark 5s. And as you can see, there's a whole lot of difference. And this definitely looks better than the other. Let's get to it. We're going to remove this battery cover. Now, I've already removed the cables. I took off this. I took the negative battery cable all the way off because it's going to actually have to be bent around a little bit. It won't fit the same way in the plastic box, so I took it completely off. So we're taking this off. It's just real easy. You know, you kind of pull it up by the sides, try to get it from the back out. Oh well. And it's gone. So now we're going to move over to the bench so you can see how this thing goes together. Okay, so here we got our pieces. We got our battery tray, we got the piece that fits in the back, we got the piece that fits in the front, and we got the lid. We're just going to put all this together. Now, as you can see here, there's 3 little clips, okay? They fasten here, here, and here. They're not real tight, they're kind of loose. Well, what you do is you just make sure you're inside of these and it clips down. You can make, you know, sometimes they're not very tight, okay? So you have to kind of work at them. All right, so when it's on the car, it's a little more difficult. It's like this over here. This is a brand new piece, and it still is loose. Then you put on your front, and you have these V-shaped pieces on each side. You have a guide, 2 guides over here, and then you have these front that fit in these slots. So you guide in the 2 V's into the rear piece. You come down, and you can see over here, you just push down and it clicks. For the lid, it has 2 prongs sitting out here. They fit underneath there. And then the front has this clip. You put them in here, and there's your battery box all ready to go. Now, granted, this is not going to be as easy on the car, but this is basically how all this works. And when you're done, you have a decent looking battery box. It may rattle a little bit because these prongs don't work real well. But, you know, they like that one there. That's the way they work. Back here is, depending upon your VW, you could have the negative going through here. But on a TDI like mine, it runs through there, and that's the reason you have to move it. And let's see, oh yeah, the one thing you got to remember, okay, is instead of coming up to the top like the cloth battery box, your cable goes in here. So it's going to be a little bit of a stretch, and it's going to be tight to get the positive cable up in here. But we'll do that, and I'll show you how that's done. We're basically ready to start. We got our battery tray back in and stuff. So the one you want to start with is the rear. Okay, and like I said, you've got this clip which fits here, this clip, and this clip. So you've got here, here, and here where those clips go. So you get them inside. Sorry about that, hit the camera. So you get them inside here, and you start with the back, and, oh well, now I didn't get this side in, did I? Okay, so, okay. As I said, not the sturdiest thing in the world, but you put that in, and then you put in the battery. When I'm going to put in the battery, I have to move the camera because I can't get it in there otherwise. Okay, so we got the battery back in, and one of the things you need to do is you need to reroute this cable. Okay, before it went over here and went in the back side. So we have to bend it because it goes in this groove back here, over the side, and then over to the ground lug. So I've already bent this. So anyway, that's in. So what we have to do now is we have to put on the front. And the front has these two clips here, which fit in here and here. And as you can see, it has places to keep it. And then it has these V's here and here, which fit in the V of the back. So we fit the V's in there. We slide it down. Oh, almost blew it. Okay, now, unlike before, this cable here used to go in the side of the other cover. Now, it has to go in this groove. So, again, we put the V's in, and we make sure this cable's as close as we can, and we push it down until it clicks. So we got that up inside there, and we're good. Next up, we have to tighten it. So we tighten up our battery cables. And now we're going to put on our cover, if I can find out where I left it. Okay, so we have these two protrusions here. You lift it up and you fit them back in the here and here. Okay, and again, our cable's out of the way. Now it's going to be real close right in this area. but it's just something you have to work around. So you get that started, and it's tight back there, but you bring it down, and boom, you have one battery box. Now the other interesting thing about this is if you want to, some people actually fit this back in there, so it adds a little more insulation. I think it's too tight. Anyway, now this looks so much better than the other did. These are my thoughts. This is what I did. You don't have to.